Paula Santos.
Hello, Miss Santos. It's Nancy Drew.
Hello. Have you been out to the park?
No, not yet. I thought I'd check in with you first.
Paula Santos.
Hi, Paula.
Nancy, what's going on? This is Paula Santos. I'm afraid I can't take your call right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Hi, Paula. It's Nancy. Listen, it turns out that Harlan was in a totally different prison than the jewel thief. I was wrong about him. I'm sorry if I upset you. I'll be in touch.
This is Paula Santos. I'm afraid I can't take your call right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Hello?
Hi, it's Paula. Just thought I'd check in, see how you're doing.
Actually, I'm kind of glad you called.
Why? What's going on?
I'm afraid I've discovered something kind of disturbing about Harlan.
Paula Santos.
Hello, Miss Santos. It's Nancy Drew.
Hello. I was wondering when I'd hear from you. Have you been out to the park?
Yes, I have.
I forgot to tell you. I frankly don't know any of my employees that well. I'm a very hands-off kind of boss. I believe in hiring the best, then stepping aside and letting them do their best. Well, let's see. Ingrid Corey is extremely competent and has no problems managing the maintenance staff. Although, it's just that sometimes she goes off on these strange New Agey type tangents and totally loses me. Anyway, exactly. But to each his or her own. So, where was I? I've yet to meet a man who was as terrific with people and as horrible with money as Darrell Trent was. He stayed afloat for 30 years on sheer charisma, I swear. There's Harlan Bishop, very conscientious. Elliot Chen, very talented, but a very slow worker. And Joy Trent, Joy is hard to describe. She's the exact opposite of her father. She doesn't talk much, keeps things bottled up. I don't mean to make her sound like some kind of freak. It's just that his bad investments caught up with him. He sold everything he could, but still wound up drowning in debt. Till one day in bankruptcy court, he just keeled over and died of a heart attack. Joy is an only child. Darrell worried about her constantly, always said she didn't laugh enough. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, he pretty much stopped laughing too. It was very sad. He was in way over his head, but there was nothing anybody could do. He would have just taken anyone who tried to help him down with him. I really couldn't tell you. She has never said one word to me about her father, ever.
Hello?
Hi, Nancy. It's Paula Santos. You know, I just had a thought. There's a newspaper article and photo in Joy's office that I want you to be sure to take a look at. They're in a frame on the wall. They're a little piece of park history. The guy in the photo found a bunch of jewels that had been stolen in a heist years ago and stashed away on one of the rides at Captain's Cove. My thoughts exactly. Not that I know of, but then there's a lot of dishonest people out there. Somebody else may have found something and just never reported it. Anyway, I called the detective that was in charge of the investigation back then. His name is KJ Paris. He's going to call you. Oops, I gotta run. I just wanted to give you a heads up. You're all set. I told the guard at the main gate to keep an eye out for you. His name's Harlan Bishop. Great. Feel free to inspect the tracks all you want. I'm sure you'll do a better job than the police. They looked around for 5 minutes, then left. Said as long as the insurance company was going to investigate, why should they? I can't wait to hear what you turn up. Call me as often as you like. My phone's on and with me 24/7. Oh, and one more thing. Call me Paula. Harlan will be watching for you. Oh, and from now on, call me Paula. Not really. I've just heard he was a very dark and dreary sort of guy, bit of a nutcase. Believed that the horses he carved were extensions of his soul, that sort of thing. It was probably destroyed during the renovation. At least I've never heard anyone say anything about it. If it is still there, I'm sure there's nothing in it but cobwebs a mile thick. Actually, the ballroom was made into the haunted house about 40 years ago. So Kessler had a workshop under there. I don't know. Maybe they wanted it for a prank. The police think it could still turn up, although they warned me that if it does, it probably won't be in very good shape. As a matter of fact, we did. 30% increase over last year. I should have been thrilled, but I wasn't. The whole thing with the carousel starting up like that all by itself, it was just too freaky. I'm almost glad the insurance company shut us down. I want to know what's going on. Good. Let me know what you find out. Not that I know of. But it's possible that people have found other stashes and just never said anything. Not everyone's as honest as that one kid was, I'm afraid. You know...
Hello?
This is Paula Santos. I'm standing outside what's left of the Captain's Quarters Hotel.
What happened?
Well, according to the fire marshal, someone left an iron on in your room and burned the place down. All the rides are shut down except for the carousel. I thought you might need to see it in action, but please, take a good look at the roller coaster even if you can't ride it. Detective KJ Paris? It just so happens that he's a friend of mine. In fact, as soon as I hang up, I'm going to call him and tell him to call you. I think you're onto something. The man who was in charge of the investigation back then?
Oh no, I forgot to turn it off.
You're at an amusement park, not a formal dance. What on earth were you ironing?
A piece of paper.
A what? No, never mind, I don't want to hear it. When I asked you to come out here, I expected to pay for your room, not the entire hotel. Consider yourself off the case. You're in the emergency room?
I fell off the carousel. I was trying to grab the brass ring and reached too far.
You were what?
It's kind of a long story. Uh-oh, I have to hang up now. They want to x-ray my head.
I should probably come down there and have my head examined too. What was I thinking, asking you to play detective? Well, I know what I'm thinking now. You're off the case. You were unconscious for how long?
I'm not sure. Whatever fell on my head also fell on my arm and broke my watch.
I can't afford any more accidents, Nancy. And since you seem to be rather accident-prone, well, let's just say you're off the case. Why were you crawling around under the carousel?
I was investigating.
It's not like it was going 90 miles an hour. Why didn't you get out of the way?
I guess I just didn't move fast enough. But don't worry, those jumper shafts didn't make any holes, just big round bruises.
Great. I asked you here to solve a mystery, and you wind up looking like a giant piece of Swiss cheese. Just have those paramedics drop you off at the airport, okay? You're off the case. You're in the hospital with a piece of wood in your eye?
Several pieces, actually, but the doctors got most of them out. I used Elliot's lathe without wearing eye protection. Never do that again.
Why were you using Elliot's lathe?
I was making a new dowel for the band organ.
I'm beginning to think being cursed is nothing compared to having you around. You're off the case. You got hit by a moving roller coaster?
My foot was stuck and I couldn't get out of the way.
How could your foot get stuck? Are your feet that big?
No, someone trapped my foot and started the coaster up deliberately.
And you've broken how many bones?
Let's just say it's going to be a while before I can resume my investigation.
You were supposed to put an end to these accidents, not cause more of them. In case you hadn't guessed, you're off the case. It was the first thing out of his mouth when he applied for the job. He said being an outstanding security guard would prove to everyone once and for all that he's gone straight.
I also found out that he used a security camera to get the code to Ingrid's work area, and he fits the description of the jewel thief's cellmate that Detective Paris gave me.
Oh, now that's disturbing. But I'm still going to give Harlan the benefit of the doubt until I have good reason not to. I appreciate your bringing this to my attention, though. Yes, Harlan told me. Go ahead and keep it, but don't lose it. I'd like to take a look at it. Kessler was apparently quite a character. Really? Don't lose it. I'd like to take a look at it. Kessler was quite a character. I have no idea. You really shouldn't go in there unless it's absolutely necessary. Parts of that building are very old, almost rickety. You need to be very careful. The part about being sued is true, but I don't think the guy got hurt. I think he's just saying that so he can try to squeeze money out of our insurance company. Sounds like a maintenance problem. Go see Ingrid. I'm sure she can help you. I think it was just a bunch of kids who felt like vandalizing something. Every time I call, I get the same thing. Someone will be out soon. Which is why I'd really like you to take a look, Nancy. No telling when they'll get around to it. You mean someone stole it because they thought there were jewels stashed inside it? Wow, that's really interesting. Maybe you should tell the police. I didn't see any harm. He loved to putter, especially in the haunted house. Wonderful imagination, but when it came to dealing with reality, barely knew where to begin. What, that he's an ex-con? I know. Sure, Tink Obermeyer operates the carousel. Real protective of it. When it was vandalized, it almost broke his heart. Loves the band organ, too. Right now, he's up in Canada fishing. No, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever even met a stenographer. Now that we're in the computer age, stenography has pretty much become extinct. The police said there was a good chance more jewels would turn up. He was married? That's news to me. And a bit of a surprise. I heard that nobody could stand the guy, which, of course, is why I invited you out here. I realize you're not a professional, but I'm really counting on you, Nancy. According to Ingrid, you not only fried that particular card reader, but you short-circuited the entire system. She says it'll take days to repair the damage, maybe even weeks.
Oops, guess I really blew it, as it were.
I'm not in the mood for lame jokes, Nancy, nor am I in the mood for paying for any more of your mistakes. So guess what? You're off the case. You were electrocuted?
That's what Harlan said must have happened. I was out cold when he found me.
I can't afford to have you blundering around the park getting into accidents, Nancy. My insurance rates are high enough. In other words, you're off the case.
Hello?
Hi, Nancy. It's Paula Santos. I was wondering when I'd hear from you. Have you been out to the park?
Yes, I have.
I forgot to tell you.
Oh no, I forgot to turn it off.
When I asked you to come out here, I expected to pay for your room, not the entire hotel. Consider yourself off the case. Call me anytime. Good. I'll be waiting. You'd better.